That's it. 1 second. So, good morning, everybody. Today we're here with a very good, interesting person who's called Giles. Giles, what is your surname? I'm not sure if I don't want to pronounce it wrong.
No problem. Kilcoyne.
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 Okay, very good. So today we're here with the Dublin Business School, and we're going to speak about their programs, and also about the critical skill list in Ireland. So, what is a critical skill list? Those are the jobs that a country, those are the professionals that a country needs for their economy. And when you look at Ireland, Ireland needs a lot of professionals. I would say, in particular, in the IT industry, in the financial, in finance. Which other areas do you think are very, very important for Ireland, Giles?
The areas that are most important for Ireland would be in IT, would be in pharmaceuticals, and in financial services. And again, just to point out that when I say jobs in IT and pharma and financial services, it doesn't always just mean IT jobs in IT. It could be marketing jobs in IT or project management in IT. So it would be those three would be probably the biggest drivers of the Irish economy.
And as I said in some other webinars, Ireland is pretty much like Silicon Valley in Europe. So a lot of opportunities. And furthermore, that you can get a post-study visa for 2 years when you have finished a master program. And you don't really need, well, you need to tell migration that you would like to stay for another 2 years. But apart from that, you don't need to do that much. And if you do an undergraduate degree, or bachelor degree, what it's called in English as well, then you get a 1 year post-study visa. So that is another very, very good thing when it comes to Ireland. And furthermore, that it can work. And yeah, in Ireland they speak English and they also speak Irish, if I'm not wrong. But it's a very, very small language nowadays. So yeah, you could get around you'll get around with English. So what do you think about Irish, Giles? Do you know an Irish?
I do, but in terms of it's being used in Ireland, it's not used that often. I mean, the first language here is English. We all have to learn Irish in school. Maybe if you go to some parts of the interior, some parts of the countryside, you will find people speaking Irish. I mean, they can also speak English, but we do have our own language.
Yeah. And that's something which surprised me when I went to Ireland last year in January, and I had to catch a bus up to Dundalk, and then I saw the name in Irish. So quite interesting. Got by the bus, we got in Irish and they got in English as well. Well, quite interesting. But as I said, the people in the people in Ireland speak English and they learn Irish at school, as you said. But it's not that you don't hear that many people speaking Irish on the street, and I can imagine.
Exactly.
So here you can see you can see me. Can you see my screen, Giles?
I can. Yeah.
Fantastic. So here is a very, very beautiful photo. I would say one of the most important tourist attractions in Ireland, which is called Cliffs of Moher. It's an amazing. It's between Cork and Galway, pretty much or it's between pretty much like this one. Cliffs of Moher is actually pretty much between Limerick and Galway. And it's by the Atlantic coast. It's an amazing scenery. Me myself, I went there in January last year, so it was not as green as this photo, but it's an amazing place. And it's about 4 or 5 hours from Dublin.
Yeah, probably 4, not more than 4. Yeah.
So this you can see here is the Cliffs of Moher. An amazing place. And this is pretty much what is for me Ireland. Everything is very, very green the entire year, and that is something I really love about Ireland. So I'm going to tell you a bit more about us. Some of you, I think, already know us, but pretty much, well, my name is Jörgen Sjöberg. I'm the owner and head of Institute Nordica, a company that I founded back in 2007. We work with quite a few universities, and also many language schools in the world. So at the moment, we work with, in total, I think it's 27 countries. When we look at universities, we're very big in the Nordic countries, in Ireland as well, but we also got connections with other parts of the world. For example, New Zealand, Australia, UK, and US when it comes to higher education. But we're pretty much we as a company we represent the university directly. We represent universities in, as I said, the Nordic countries in Ireland. If you like to study in one of the other countries, we also got connections with them. But our focus is pretty much on Ireland and Nordic countries. And so in Colombia, we teach some languages. I think some of you know that. Here in Colombia, we teach Swedish and Norwegian. Quite interesting. Not that many people who would think that Swedish might be a big language. Well, there are not that many companies that teach Swedish here in Colombia and Norwegian. So that is why we're quite big on that here in Colombia. And well, if you like to certify your Swedish level, you can do it with us or with an exam called Swedix. And we can help you with the visa application. So we can't apply for the visa for you, but we can tell you about which documents you need for the visa and what you need to keep in mind when it comes to applying for a visa. And if you like to translate documents, we got an official translator who will be able to translate documents from Spanish to English. We got an official translator for you. And when it comes to studying in Ireland, well, English is very important, as in Ireland they speak English. When it comes to study at Dublin Business School, then you need an IELTS academic score, which is as a minimum 6.0, but it might be up to 6.5 as well, depending on what you would like to study. They also accept Duolingo, which is a cheaper option than IELTS and TOEFL. So they accept that one as well. I think 95 is the minimum score they accept. That they accept, and also TOEFL, that's another exam they accept, which is from 80 is a minimum, and then you might need 88 for some programs as well. A very good thing with Dublin Business School is that it can apply. They got 3 intakes a year, which are in January, September, and April. So you need to apply. I would say it's good to apply about 3 months before the start date, because of the visa process, which might take about 3 months, perhaps a little bit longer as well. So that is pretty much the intake dates. When it comes to working in Ireland, to know, well, a good English level is important. And well, if you would like to study at Dublin Business School, then you need to have a good English level. Otherwise, you won't be able to study even. When it comes to scholarships, there are some scholarships at Dublin Business Schools. So at undergraduate level, you can get a scholarship which is 500 euros, and a master level you can get a scholarship which is 1,000 euros. You might also be able to get a scholarship from Colfuturo, but the last day to apply was the 1st of March, so won't be able to apply this year, so it might be for the next year. So if you'd like to contact us, our contact number, our mobile number is 301-517-6511. And here we are on Facebook, and we are on Instagram. And now I'm going to leave you with Giles, which is the International Student Recruitment Manager at Dublin Business School. So I will leave it for you now, Giles.
Great. Thank you very much, Jörgen. And yes, my name is Giles Kilcoyne, International Student Recruitment Manager at Dublin Business School. And we're very grateful to Instituto Nordico for facilitating this seminar today. Instituto Nordico are a trusted partner of ours. We're known to each other for some time now, and we're delighted to be working with you. So I'm just going to share my screen. I think it'll be helpful for the participants to just see as I'm speaking. One moment. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Great. Okay. Well, as mentioned, I am Giles, International Student Recruitment Manager at Dublin Business School. Dublin Business School is Ireland's oldest leading independent college. We were established almost 50 years ago, which maybe doesn't sound that long, but as a nation, we're barely 100 years old. And so we're in existence, the oldest and leading independent college in the country. We have approximately 9,000 students. Of those 9,000 students, 6,000 come from Ireland or from the EU, from the European Union, and the remaining 3,000 come from over actually 80 different countries. So we have students from every continent of the world on our campus. We're located in the city centre. Dublin is the capital of Ireland. It's the political capital, it's the financial capital, it's the cultural capital. So students can live, work and study and have a bit of fun. In the capital, we're only 5 million people in Ireland, and approximately 2 million of those people live in Dublin or Greater Dublin. And our campus is actually at the city centre campus, which is great because our campus is the city. But we're right in the middle of Dublin. You walk out our doors and you'll hear accents from all over the world. You'll see Indian restaurants, South American restaurants, Chinese restaurants. It's really, really quite a cosmopolitan city. So just in terms of recognition and accreditation, of course, this is so important for students when they're deciding where to study, be it at Dublin Business School or be it anywhere in the world. You want to know that your course is going to be accredited. So I'd just like to draw your attention to this award in the top left-hand corner. It says QQI Award. So QQI stands for Quality and Qualifications Ireland. This is the branch of the Irish Department of Education and Science that accredits our certificates and our courses. So if you graduate from Dublin Business School, let's say an MBA, you'll have an MBA from Dublin Business School with the qualification that comes from QQI, which is an Irish government award. This is important because QQI awards are globally recognized. So students, eventually maybe return to Colombia or move to Asia or Africa, wherever, it means that your award will be globally recognized. And under this award, which all of our courses are, it also means that students can work when studying in Ireland at Dublin Business School, but also gives them rights to work after they graduate, which I'll talk about in a little bit more detail. So you can see as I mentioned, we've got 9,000 students, 3,000 are international, 80 different countries. In terms of our nationality, our top 5 nationalities outside of Ireland and the European Union in no particular order would be Indian, Malaysian, Chinese, Nigerian, and Brazilian. But like I said, there's 80, so there's 75 other nationalities, but just to give you a flavor of how diverse we are. In Ireland, we're not big on rankings. I've never ever seen, the top ranking list of colleges and universities in Ireland, but we do have the Education Awards, and you can see that recently Dublin Business School has won Overall Excellence in Education, Best College of Business, Best Student Experience Award, and Best Library Team. The Overall Excellence in Education is one that we're really proud of because education isn't just the classroom, it's not just the library, of course, it's all of those things, but it's more. It's career services, it's clubs and societies, it's mentoring, it's all sorts of support. So, we won these awards in competition with government universities, so we're extremely proud of these. The name Dublin Business School can be a little bit misleading. We were founded in the early 70s. But over the years, our courses have grown to reflect the needs of the Irish economy, the needs of the Irish learner, the needs of international learners. And yes, we're Dublin Business School, but you can see here we have non-business related courses in the area of arts and counseling and psychotherapy, film and media, data analytics, social studies, psychologies, etc. Also law. And we'll take a little bit more of a closer look at the courses further on. I already mentioned that all our full-time programs are accredited by Quality and Qualifications Ireland. What's important here is that I'm pointing out full-time. It's a requirement of the Irish visa system that students study on a full-time basis when they're in Ireland. And their definition of full-time is a minimum of 15 classroom hours per week. And upon graduation from one of these full-time courses, students will be eligible for an automatic 2 or possibly a 1-year stay-back visa, depending which course they take, and we'll discuss that a little further on. We've got over 100 courses, guys. So if we were to speak about every course, we'd be here till tomorrow, and we all have to go to church tomorrow, right? So we don't have time to do all of them. Sunday tomorrow, the day of rest. But here's our master's level business course and IT courses. So all our master's courses are 1 year in duration. I'm pretty sure that Ireland is the only country in the world that's giving a 2-year stay-back visa for a 1-year course. So students can take one of these 1-year courses, and then upon successful completion, they'll automatically receive a 2-year full-time working visa. So we have a number of MBAs with specializations, and then we have a number of MSCs or Masters of Science. We welcome applicants from any background to our MBAs. So for these courses here, students can come from any background. They could come from a background of arts or zoology or medicine, and they could study an MBA. And for the MSCs, Masters of Science, students must come for a similar background. So let's take the example of, let's take information systems with computing. So to be eligible for this course, student would need to hold an existing degree in computing. Okay. And we have some higher, some higher diplomas. So these are conversion courses. So let's say somebody wanted to do a master's in fintech, but they didn't have a financial or tech background. They had, let's say they had a bachelor degree in Spanish, for example. They could take this 1-year higher diploma in fintech conversion course, and then after this, go on to study the master's course. Our arts courses are mentioned here: addiction studies, psychology, at the undergraduate and the postgraduate level, and film and creative media, as well as law. Some of our degrees, so our bachelor degrees are here. We're finding most of our students, international students, are coming for master's level courses. Maybe students are a little bit too young at 17, 18 to come and study a bachelor degree. Maybe not, we do get some. But most of our international students are coming for postgraduate master's studies. But here's just an example of our bachelor courses in business. These would be our bachelor courses in IT, Bachelor of Science, cloud computing, data analytics, big data, software development, web and mobile computing. And you'll see that a lot of our master's courses as well were very IT related. Dublin Business School is a hugely practical college. We do not offer courses that do not address the critical skills list here in Ireland. When we're designing our courses during the design process, we consult with industry leaders and say, okay, you know, we want to offer an MS, we want to offer a master's in fintech, for example. But you know, we think we know what your potential employers, what skills they'll need to have, but you need to tell us as well. So we get feedback from employers, and we design our courses accordingly to guarantee students the absolute best chance of employment upon graduation. We have some foundation courses. These are for students that have a lower level of English. I'll talk about English language entry requirements a little further, but that option is there. As Jürgen was saying, for the most part, students need to have an IELTS score of 6 to join one of our courses, but if students have a little bit lower, like an IELTS 5.5, they can take one of these courses. So Masters 6, Bachelor's 6, Pre-Masters 5.5, and Pre-Undergraduate 5.5. So the Pre-Masters and the Pre-Undergraduate are short English preparatory courses, if required. These would be our tuition fees and our scholarships. So, you know, 13,500 is not a lot of, is not an insignificant amount of money. But it's a very wise investment, and we feel that our fees are very competitive, especially in comparison with some of the public universities or the government universities, where we deliver. If somebody receives a master's degree from an Irish government university, it's a level 9. If they receive a master's degree from DBS, Dublin Business School, it's a level 9 as well. For all students that apply and receive an offer letter for one of our master's courses, they receive a €1,000 scholarship. Similarly, for students who apply to one of our bachelor courses and get an offer letter, they receive a €500 scholarship. So basically the price is up here. If you're eligible for the course, for the master's courses, you'll receive the 1,000 scholarship, and for bachelor, the 500. Some of our other fees here are mentioned for those English preparatory courses. Look, guys, education, the name of the game in education is employment and professional advancement. I don't think anybody goes into education not to advance themselves personally and also professionally. And Ireland is kind of in a golden age of visa policy, economic growth. Okay, we've got some complications with the pandemic. Everybody does at the moment, but I've been working in this industry for 20 years, and the government has recognized that as Ireland's economy is growing, it's the fastest growing in Europe. It has the highest amount of foreign direct investment in Europe. So as our economy is growing, our government is understanding that we need to have workers who can fuel this continued growth. I mean, Irish people are terrible. We speak English, a little bit of Irish, but Spanish, French, German, nothing. So international students, not just for their language skills, but just for their general skills, are encouraged to come to Ireland to study courses that address the critical skills gap, and then are welcome to enter the workforce. The very fact that our government is saying to international students, if you come here and study, we're going to give you a 2-year work visa. The government would not be doing this if they didn't have faith in the Irish economy. So hopefully that gives a bit of confidence to you guys, to the students, and when considering Ireland as not only a destination to study, but potentially a destination to live and to work after graduation also. So all economic forecasts predicted Ireland will return to pre-COVID-19 level growth this year. Our Minister for Finance recently said the current crisis is a health one and not related to any inherent macroeconomic imbalance at the heart of the economy. And there's growth happening every day, guys. If you guys just kind of, I don't know, register for an Irish news website and check in every couple of days, you're just going to see stories about jobs and employment. And it's really made us the envy of many of our European cousins. But just to talk a little bit more about, not so much about DBS, but just Ireland generally and some things for students to consider. And what does Ireland look like with respect to jobs? So, well, Ireland is home to 9 of the top 10 US tech companies, the top 10 pharma companies, the top 5 global software companies, 14 of the top 15 medical companies, 8 of the top 10 industrial automation companies, and 8 of the top 10 financial services companies. This is growing day by day, and particularly after Brexit, which I'm sure you're all familiar with, where a lot of the big multinational companies are leaving London and coming to Dublin, which is the only other English-speaking major city in the European Union, which is crazy but true. So while it's been uncertain times with respect to Brexit, we actually think in the medium term Ireland's going to be a big winner out of this because of our use of the English language and our highly educated workforce. This is Dublin. Dublin as a city is quite small, guys. It's, as I mentioned, it's only 2 million people. I'm pretty sure there's one, if not two, possibly even 3 or 4 cities in Colombia that are bigger than that. As I mentioned, we're right in the heart of the city centre. I've just given an example here of some of the companies that are close to us. Some of them are international. Stripe, the Irish company that's just been valued at I don't know how many billion euros. It's an incredible story by 2 Irish brothers. But this is all on our doorstep. So for 2021, just some more stats, and I hope I'm not boring you guys too much, sounding like an economist, so I'll go quickly. But we're predicted to be the least damaged by the coronavirus. 18,000 job openings will be available for people with high ICT skills on an annual basis by 2022. Let's just stop and think about that, guys. That's 18,000 jobs. And that's just in ICT. Now, these are government statistics, so I'm not making these up. But that's a huge opportunity for Irish students, for Colombian students, for everyone. 73,000 job opportunities for graduates with high-level ICT skills over the next 4 years in data analytics, artificial intelligence, robotics, animation, and gaming, etc. So pretty stunning statistics, guys. Okay, so where are some of our students currently working? Our students are working in these companies, and they're working in lots of other companies that I didn't put up on there that maybe aren't household names in Colombia, but this is just a selection of where some of our students are working. So again, when students are actually in college, they can work 20 hours per week to support themselves and 40 hours per week when they're on academic holidays. I'm sounding like a broken record now, but the graduate visa allows students to stay back for either 1 or 2 years after graduation. A big part of our offering at Dublin Business School is our careers hub. And it's not just international students, it's Irish students, it's Irish moms, it's Irish dads. And so, yeah, how are you going to help our son or our daughter to take advantage of these conditions in Ireland? And we've put a hell of a lot of resources and time into our careers hub. And our careers advisors, they conduct a lot of activities. They visit students in the classroom. There's a 24/7 online careers hub where you can see jobs that are posted. We have target and focus career hubs days where we might have like a project management day or an IT day. We have industry visits from potential employers and guest lecturers. We have a number of personal career development weeks during the semester, where it's a week of activities where employers will come to our campus to meet our students, where we'll have speakers in from LinkedIn and companies like this about how to find that job. And of course, our career coaches are there to have one-on-one sessions with our students. During the classroom visits, it's just to reach out and for the students to get to know us. We help students understand exactly what the Careers Hub can do for them, help them understand the role of these career coaches that I've mentioned, and help them understand how they can develop their hard and soft skills. The 24/7 Careers Hub is an online digital resource. It's 24/7 accessible, beg your pardon. It's focused on career content, which is actual jobs and resources about how to find jobs and what jobs are available. At our Targeted Careers workshop. So these are input part of the students' weekly timetable. So for example, in the first semester, we're helping students understand what am I eligible for. We're helping them kind of brush up their LinkedIn profile. We're helping them find the part-time job. When I say part-time job, that's the kind of student job. I know there's somebody here on this call who has mentioned that they work in financial services, but students might come in semester one, irrespective of their background, they might want to work part-time just for a little bit of pocket money. But then in semester two, we really focus on the long-term professional job. And this is where we bring students into networking, events and skills, the actual job search itself, interview preparations, and some of the other soft skills. This is an example of some of the industry visits and guest lectures we had last year. So some of the companies there, you guys will know, Microsoft, for example, IBM, big companies. But yeah, Microsoft came onto our campus. Our students went to their campus. HubSpot, Decathlon, Atlantis, Ernst & Young, another big international company. And during the personal PCDW week, we have one each semester. This is where the employers come in and really tell us the attributes that they're hoping our students might have. Again, more industry workshops and lectures, and a lot of practical workshops from HR managers in these companies about how to apply and when to apply, etc. So this was last October, and we have one of these each semester. So the career coaching one-on-one, and this is at no extra cost to the student. So you saw the slide with tuition fees. That all of this is included in the tuition fees. So you can actually sit down with a career advisor, book a session in as many times as you want. Make sure your CV is brought up to speed. They'll make sure that your LinkedIn profile is polished in the way it should be. They'll advise you on graduate programs, the career attributes, and they'll even help you with that interview, of course. A number of graduate fairs. Dublin Business School has over, has over 100 clubs and societies. Just to talk a little bit, I'm just going to stop my screen now, share if I may. That was quite academic. We spoke about courses, we spoke about career services, and got a bit heavy in statistics on employment opportunities. But Dublin Business School has all the kind of clubs and societies you would expect at every university, whether it's sports teams or clubs and societies, volunteering opportunities. It's a full-on university in that respect as well. I'm going to pause now. I've been speaking quite a lot. That was a lot of information, and thank you for listening. I hope you found it somewhat useful. But yeah, happy to answer any questions there might be.
So Giles, I'm pretty amazed by the connections you have with the industry and the possibilities to find a job afterwards. But look, like the numbers you told us about 17,000 people in the ICT industry. Only it's quite a big number. If you look at the population in Ireland, which is 5 million, it's quite a lot. And as you can see, well, to study costs some money. And I think with the scholarships it comes down to 12,500, then a master level course. But still, look at it in the way you can stay in Ireland 2 years when you finish your studies. What you need to do to study in Ireland, when looking at living cost, when apply for a visa is about 7,000 euros. So I can understand you, like it comes down to roughly about 20,000 euros that you need to like pay for this for the scholar, pay for the tuition, and then show that you got 7,000 in your bank account, which could be your mother's bank account, your father's bank account as well. Doesn't necessarily be your bank account, but if you look at it, they can get like a 2-year stay back visa. It's quite some time. And I feel, what do you get when you start to work in Ireland? If you look in the IT industry and you got some experience, what would be like a normal annual salary, Giles?
Well, if students already have working experience and they've got a bachelor degree and then they have a master's degree, someone with a master's degree would be starting somewhere in around the area of 50,000 euro per year.
50?
Yeah, if they've got prior experience.
Well, it's 50,000? Wow.
With prior work experience on a master's degree, yeah.
Well, quite amazing, isn't it? Because then looking at it, it's say 20,000 euros is what you need to study for 1 year, pretty much. But you get 50,000 when you finish your studies.
Yeah, and people should remember also, even for that first year when students are studying, they can work part-time. It might be working in the hospitality industry or in a restaurant or something like this, but the minimum wage in Ireland is 10 euros per hour. So students can easily, they could actually earn the amount of their tuition just with the part-time working.
Wow, incredible. So that is something I find amazing with Ireland, that the opportunity, what you can get when you're, and even like if you haven't got that much experience, what do you say? What is a salary when you haven't got that much experience after you've done a master?
If you wouldn't have already got some professional experience, it would kind of be closer to 40,000, maybe 35 to 40,000
Wow,
a year.
Quite amazing.
Yeah,
So,
with a master's degree.
So when you studied 2 years, when you stay back 2 years, then you pretty much, then you'll get a return on your investment in about 2 years. It's amazing. Very, very interesting. So guys, I said, well, Ireland is an amazing opportunity if in particular, if in the financial industry or in the IT industry, an amazing option. Even in medical industry, like in a pharmaceutical company, it's very good at the moment. You can imagine working for Pfizer, where it's going very good on vaccinations. When it comes to vaccination, Giles, I know that you're doing fairly well. When do you predict that most of your population will be vaccinated?
It is predicted that 80% of all adults will have received at least their first vaccination, the first dose, by the end of June. Wow. So 80% of all adults, at least one injection by the end of June.
Wow. And then I guess in the end of July, most of them will probably have their second injection, I guess, because I think it's about a 3 or 4 week period between the vaccines.
And it might even speed up a little bit, because I think we're expecting some supply of Johnson & Johnson, for example, which is a one-shot vaccine. But even for getting that for one moment, it's like what I just said, but could be better if and when we get the Johnson & Johnson vaccination.
Oh, so by the end of July, probably, but most of the population in Ireland will probably have been vaccinated. So wow, you're doing fingers crossed. But still, it's a very good number. If you look at South America, I think most of the people here in the webinar are from South America. It might be people from other countries as well. But if you look at Colombia, well, it's taking quite some time. I wonder when I will get vaccinated. Perhaps next year in January. I think about that time. Okay. I guess I don't know. So, guys. Have you got any questions for Giles? You can add them in the chat box, or you can ask them. You can open up your microphone as well. So please add them now in the chat box or open up your microphone. So as I said, well, traveling to Ireland is very well connected with. Kenny got a question here. Kenny, you can ask them if you want to ask them in the chat box, or you would like to open up your microphone.
Okay, so I'd like to ask about specifically the Business Analytic Master's program. It says that it has for the stage 3 an applied project. So I'd like to know if this is like an internship or more like a thesis research project type.
It's a thesis. It's not an internship. It is a thesis.
Okay. And now the second question is, well, this is more like a prediction, because I know that now everything is so uncertain, but I was reading the news and it says that hopefully for September, the population in Ireland will be fully vaccinated. So I've heard also that they now have a restriction about people who's going there. Colombia is in the list. They need to stay in a hotel for 15, the quarantine, 15 days. Do you think that that restriction will be different for September if the population is fully vaccinated then?
Yeah, I do think it will be different. And look, I've got to be a little bit careful about making promises, because I can't predict the future. No. But I was just listening to the Minister for Health here, was on the radio about an hour before I came on this call. And he was saying that these are temporary measures. We've just next week, USA is going on the list, and France and some of these other countries. But the minister was saying these are temporary measures to protect the public until we are vaccinated. Yeah, so these are purely temporary. Exactly what that will look like in January, I don't know, but I would imagine because most of us will be vaccinated, it will be a very different thing that we're looking at.
Yeah, no, that's good.
And just one more question. I would like to know about funding options. I understand that to apply for a visa, we need to pay at least 6,000 euros of the tuition fees. But does it? I mean, do you have the chance like to pay for the 7,000 wherever is missing for the second semester? Is that possible?
We would, if I understand your question correctly, you're asking, can you pay the tuition in 2 parts? Is that right?
Yeah, that's the question.
Unfortunately not. We would ask that the tuition fees would be paid in full before the student travels to Ireland.
Okay, understood.
And I also seen that it's better. We work with other universities, and we are seeing that it's better to pay the entire tuition fee for the first year. I understand that it's a lot of money. I guess some of you guys need to take a loan, but as Giles said, well, the return of the investment is quite fast. In about a year, you'll get a return of the investment. So I understand it's money, but the return on investment is quite fast as well.
Exactly.
Any more questions coming up? Another guys here, Ricardo, Linda, and another guy here. Ricardo got a question here. Please, Ricardo, if you'd like to open up your microphone, or what you prefer.
I will speak up.
Yeah.
So, Yields, I have a question. I don't know if maybe it's very early to ask this, but I'm just curious what happens after the 2 years post-graduation work permit. What's the what usually people do, or yeah.
Well, so a couple of things happen. Either students, they finish their 2 years and they leave for whatever reason. But what's also quite common is that during this 2 years, if the employee is working well and performing, that they can become sponsored for the business visa, which essentially then leads to a green card.
And then I can imagine that when you are on a critical skills list, it's got like very good possibility to get a green card, if I'm not wrong.
Exactly. I mean, so the student maybe graduates with the master's today, they start a job, they've got year 1, year 2. If in the second year, they're performing well in the company and the company wants them to continue working and not lose them, which is very often the case. Yeah, they apply for that business permit. And after 3 years of that, then essentially you get the green card.
Oh, very
All right,
good.
Perfect. And I have another question. It's about living costs in Dublin. I know that for in order to apply for the visa, we have to have 7,000 euros. But what's the real cost of living there? Because I know, we all know Ireland. It's a very expensive country compared to the other countries of the European Union. But it's totally worth it. But I would like to have a peace of mind of what's the average cost for a student to live in Dublin.
Of course, it depends on how you want to live, and different students have different needs. But bear in mind that when we say the average cost, you're going to be able to work here, even as a student. And it depends on do you want to get your own place? It's going to be a little bit more expensive. How many people are you prepared to live with? Maybe 2 or 3 or whatnot. You'll be working part time. It's probably closer to 10,000 euro a year. And before the pandemic, this was no problem. As I said, we're right in the middle of the city, and again, this is for the part-time student job I'm speaking about. There's no problem to pick up jobs in the hospitality sector or in the retail sector, and then you're probably being a little bit more realistic. If you're including rents, depending on how many people you live with, etc. And what your lifestyle is like, it's probably closer to around 10,000, to be honest.
Good. Very good reply, Giles. Sorry, Ricardo.
No, thank you for the answers.
Sure.
And another thing is that, well, there are very good shops in Ireland for. We got like Lead is a very good, very economic store, which is compared to perhaps like Justo Bueno or De Uno here in Colombia. And they've got their prices are very good. And for example, if I like to go out and go for a few beers every weekend, it might cost a little bit more. But everything depends on you guys. It might be about 10,000, might be a little bit less. If you're looking at buying your food in Lead, for example. So that's very much my looking at the living cost in Ireland. What do you think, Giles?
Yeah, I would say so. It can be, again, just it depends on how everybody lives. It could be a little bit less, but you're right. I mean, this shop, Leeds, Lidl, Aldi, I go there myself and, I can spend 40 euros and get everything for the week. It's great. Thank God for these German supermarkets.
So it might be a bit less as well. But 10,000 is a good number. If it had been outside Dublin in a small village, it might be down to 7,000, but Dublin a little bit more expensive. But still, as Jai said, you can work while you're studying, which is, you said, about 10 euros per hour?
Yeah, it's 10 euro and 25 or something. I can't remember exactly, but it's over 10 euro, yeah.
And that is before or after tax?
That is before. That is before tax.
Okay.
So it's probably about probably about 9, high 8, low 9 an hour.
Okay, so about 9 hours after taxes, and it might be even more. Do you think it would be possible to find a job in the industry while you're doing your master degree, for example?
It's possible. The biggest obstacle there could be that the international students must study full time during the day, Monday to Friday. So it might be a little bit tricky just to be studying 15 hours a week, and you can't be in two places at once. But it's not impossible.
Okay, yeah. So you can start. Perhaps you might be able to start in the IT industry while you're studying at Dublin Business School, but it might be a bit tricky. But perhaps it's not impossible. And I can imagine, like, perhaps if you're a programmer, it might be a little bit different. But of course, it depends on the company. I'm not sure if we got any more questions. I think not. So we're here to help you. We do not charge anything for our services. It's totally for free. The only thing which costs, the service that costs is translations. What we do, we send you the number to our official translator, and then you speak with her about the prices. So our service are pretty much for free. So we'll just help you to apply to study at Dublin Business School. So Giles, been great to have you here today, and I'm amazed by the number of people you need in Ireland. And looking at the salaries, it's quite good. If I would be someone in the industry, like IT, medicine, or financial industry, I would love to go to study in Ireland or Dublin at Dublin Business School. So Giles, what's great to have you here with us today. And the webinar is also getting recorded, so we'll upload it to our YouTube channel after the webinar. So Giles, for you, it's about afternoon, isn't it? What time is it Dublin at the moment?
It's just 4 o'clock, 4 p.m.
Great. So for all of you who are here at the webinar today, thanks for participating, and have a good rest of the weekend. And for you, Giles, have a good evening.
Great, and thank you to you, Jorgen, Instituto Nordico, for organizing this, and to Kenny, Ricardo, Linda, thank you for taking the time to listen. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Great.
Thanks to you.
Thanks to you.
Thanks a lot, Ricardo, all of you. So have a good rest of the weekend. And here in Colombia is a partial lockdown at the moment. As I told you, Giles, pretty much like you got pharmacies and drugstores are open. That's about it. But hopefully we get better soon again. So have a good rest of the weekend, and hope to see you applying to Dublin Business School. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Ciao,
Thank
ciao.
you. Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.